U.S. Navy is a massive organization with global reach. It's also at the forefront of grappling with the profound implications of climate change. Eloise, what are the core components of this Climate Action 2030 strategy?
The Navy's strategy is built on two main pillars: building climate resilience into its forces and infrastructure, which is adaptation, and significantly reducing its own carbon footprint, which is mitigation. They're aiming to strengthen operational resilience, reduce emissions, and adapt infrastructure through this plan.
So it's about both preparing for the changes already happening and actively trying to lessen their impact. When we talk about adaptation, specifically for infrastructure and coastal areas, what kind of actions is the Navy taking?
They're making substantial upgrades. This includes modernizing water and electrical infrastructure across their installations. Crucially, they're incorporating detailed flood projections directly into their installation master plans. Beyond just internal upgrades, programs like the Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration, or RAPI, are being used to restore coastal areas and stabilize shorelines. An example is the work being done at Naval Weapons Station, Yorktown.
It sounds like a proactive approach to protecting their physical assets from rising sea levels and extreme weather. But what about reducing their environmental impact? The Navy uses a lot of fuel. How are they tackling emissions?
The Department of the Navy has set an ambitious target to draw down 5 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent per year by 2027. This involves several key initiatives. They're deploying cybersecure microgrids to ensure energy independence for critical missions, even if the main grid fails. They're also electrifying their vehicle fleet and improving the fuel efficiency of their vessels.
5 million metric tons is a significant target in just a few years. How realistic is that, especially with the sheer scale of their operations? And what about the more immediate operational challenges climate change presents?
It's a challenging goal, but the strategy outlines a path to achieve it through these various measures. Regarding operational challenges, the Navy is actively adapting to the changing environment, particularly in the Arctic. As sea ice melts, they're bolstering their operational capabilities in that region, acknowledging new pathways and potential areas of engagement.
That makes sense. New realities demand new strategies. Beyond improving efficiency and microgrids, is the Navy exploring entirely new forms of energy?
Yes, innovation is a big part of it. The Navy is investing in alternative fuels, solar power, and even hydrogen fuel cells. The goal is not just to reduce emissions, but also to decrease their dependence on traditional fossil fuels. This also has the strategic benefit of reducing the logistical burden in potentially contested environments, making their operations more agile.
So the Climate Action 2030 strategy isn't just an environmental initiative, it's also deeply tied to national security and operational effectiveness. It seems the Navy views climate change not just as an environmental problem, but as a direct threat multiplier that requires a comprehensive, multifaceted response.
Exactly. It frames climate change as a significant factor affecting everything from infrastructure longevity to combat readiness and logistical supply lines, making resilience and emissions reduction critical for their core mission.
It's a fascinating look at how a major defense organization is confronting global environmental shifts. If you found this discussion insightful, share this episode with a friend.
Is preparing for climate change by strengthening operational resilience, reducing emissions, and adapting infrastructure through its Climate Action 2030 strategy. Key actions include deploying cyber-secure microgrids for energy independence, electrifying vehicles, improving vessel efficiency, and utilizing nature-based solutions to protect coastal installations from flooding. Key initiatives for climate preparedness, infrastructure, and coastal resilience. The Navy is upgrading water and electrical infrastructure and incorporating flood projections into installation master plans. Programs like the Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration are used to restore coastal areas and stabilize shorelines, such as at Naval Weapons Station Yorktown. Energy security and emissions reduction. The Department of the Navy aims to draw down 5 million metric tons per year by 2027. This includes installing cyber-secure microgrids to ensure power for critical missions, even if the main grid fails. Operational adaptation. The service is adjusting to a changing environment, particularly in the Arctic, by bolstering operational capabilities as sea ice melts. Alternative energy and innovation. The Navy is investing in alternative fuels, solar power, and hydrogen fuel cells to reduce dependence on traditional fossil fuels, which also reduces the logistical burden in contested environments. Strategic framework. The Department of the Navy Climate Action 2030 plan focuses on two main pillars: building climate resilience into its forces and infrastructure and reducing its own carbon footprint.